Hi there folks, Richard Victory here with episode 4 of Bomber Command. Sorry it's been a while. Had an unfortunate incident involving my gaming PC. I insist the circumstances were not my fault. But anyway, no gaming machine I lost, which meant of course also no editing software. So making videos for this or my other hobbies has been really complicated. So trying gaming on a MacBook Pro, my business machine. War Thunder runs surprisingly well on it, actually. Very pretty, very easy to play. No real, conversion issues or anything. The only thing I didn't like was that no way to input or import rather my saved custom keyboard configuration. So sort of had to go back and manually remap everything. With the PC version you can export, the Mac version you can't. So Fjords, myself and Nightshade in our Beauforts, and you can see we're heading well away from the middle of the map where those two ridge lines are. That area just gets messy. There's Nightshade up ahead of me. She called lead ship, and yeah, we just avoid the middle of this map if we can. The terrain channels the fighters at any altitude straight into the bombers trying to hit the trucks on that ridge, and it just gets ugly way too quickly. So we just favor the offside over here. We tend to get left alone, and naturally the first thing that's got to go is the pillboxes and the anti-aircraft guns. There's enough anti-aircraft guns on this side of the map that if you ignore them, they'll just get lucky eventually. So we're targeting pillboxes, but hitting anti-aircraft guns if we can't do anything else. Almost right away, get a fighter jumps on us. Numbnuts 173 in his Kitty Hawk. And unfortunately for him, my tail gunner gets lucky and puts some 50 caliber through his canopy. I don't know if you noticed that, but those bombs were actually flying in a fan there. They weren't flying in a stick. I pulled some G's in the corner just as I dropped, and yeah, the bombs flew laterally out of the aircraft instead of dropping in a straight line. I didn't know they did that. That explains some of my hit miss ratios, I think, in bombing. Apparently there's a lot to be said for coming in straight and true for several seconds before releasing, like this run. The opening bit for this game, both Nightshade and I were grousing over comms that it felt like we were dropping an awful lot of ordnance and getting not an awful lot done. I mean, I'm not the best bombardier at the best of days. 4 250 pound bombs, or about 1,000 pounds of bombs per target tends to be my average. So, but even this time around, it just felt like we hit everything but what we were aiming at. Now this is just bad communications on our part. Nightshade called the target. I misunderstood which one she was aiming for. Had 3 bombs out the door before I realized I was hitting the same target she just flattened. So only had 1 bomb left to hit the target I was supposed to have hit. And I don't know if you saw that, but it actually went through the roof of the pillbox and exploded in the ground behind it. No damage to the pillbox. So, okay, Gaijin, that's interesting. I'm not sure why that doesn't count, but we'll go with that. So, lining up on the next run here, it takes about 30 seconds to reload, so full stick in, and yeah, not again. Not a single target. Really frustrating. Nightshade was starting to complain that the problem with our aim was that we weren't fighting enemy fighters at the same time as trying to do bombing runs, which is normally how we wind up operating. So when we're left alone, we overthink our targets. And she was right. We had completely got left alone on this side of the map. It was actually kind of weird. Oh, finally got a pillbox there. What we realized was this map had developed, right down the midfield, even more so than it normally did. And so there was a huge furball going on over that ridge, and we were completely alone, all ourselves over here. You'll see that one of the things I do is swoop on the drop. Even though the Beaufort's technically a level bomber, I find it's actually easier to predict where the bombs are going to drop if I'm diving at about a 30-degree angle towards the target. And then when I come out the other side, essentially I boom and zoom what it is I want to ground target. I guess that's the best way of explaining it, is yeah, boom and zoom attack. Drop in at the target at 30 to 45-degree angle, release the bombs, and then pull up at a 30 to 45-degree angle, converting all of the energy I've picked up in the dive back up into altitude. So here you can see a classic example of what I'm talking about. And if I bother to take the time to actually do these boom and zoom patterns, my accuracy goes way up, which is something, you know, and there's the big secret to why we were missing before. We were just kind of flying around and not really thinking too hard and just dropping bombs, as opposed to flying the way we usually do under combat, which is these sort of boom and zoom drop approaches. Yeah, hey, look at that, ground wind straight 5, finally getting something done here. Nightshade and I are used to scoring, you know, somewhere in the vicinity of a third to half of the total ground target kills for our team. I mean, we're a medium bomber squadron. That's what we do. So you know, it gets frustrating when you can't hit anything. So we've got that area cleaned out, and immediately, as soon as we get out of that little empty spot and in towards the more middle of the map, we're going for this area target here. High altitude guy got it on us before we got there, and started picking up enemy fighters almost immediately. And got set on fire, critted, you saw there, but was able to put it out by dropping my throttle very briefly down to 0, and then ramping it wide open again, keep flying. And there's a stick of bombs on the next area target. I'm blowing yellow smoke as usual. We have our warning. I have my warning label out. I was teasing Nightshade that she was cheating. She wasn't running with smoke. No warning smoke being streamed from her aircraft. So that's a standing joke of ours. In arcade anyway, when we're playing realistic, we a little more serious. So at this point in time, Nightshade's picked up a fighter. I'm essentially dropping in behind him, letting my nose gunner work him over while I'm chasing in towards the cargo ship targets that she's after. My tail gunner is just basically emptying belts of ammunition into the air behind us, trying to keep fighters off us as we're going after these cargo ships. Nightshade hits the first target, so I divert low in and over the coast, going after the next one. And there's a broadside right in the cargo hatch. They've improved the hitboxes a little bit. I've complained in the past about the hitboxes on ships, that if you don't put it right dead center, it doesn't count, or specifically dead center of the superstructure. The hitboxes now for the cargo ships, at least, seem to be behaving the way I'd expect them to, even beside the ship. It seems to work now if you get a big enough bomb. I don't know if you saw that buffalo I literally just flew over. I was coming, he's still firing at me. He's actually shooting at Nightshade. Nightshade shot his engine up. So the reason I flew over him was because his engine was no longer running. He was just freewheeling and just pumping away ammunition, trying to bring Nightshade down before he finally crashed. So we're in low right here over the enemy airfield. Buzzing the tower, buzzing the trees, buzzing the hangars. First order of business is killing those anti-aircraft guns. And yeah, for some reason they gave me that one as a kill, even though it looked to me like both bombs were wide, but I guess anti-aircraft gun emplacements, those sandbags don't count for much. A friendly fighter picked up a Convectix 97 flying a Spitfire Mk I. I guess sees two friendly bombers deep in bad guy territory right over the enemy airbase, and he just jumps in on the party and goes to town. Now when he gets here, he's already got win streak 6. He's clearly good at what he does. And what he proceeds to do is follow along behind myself, and there we go, he bags an SU-2 right there. There's kill streak 7. He gets in behind the pack of fighters chasing us around the enemy, last enemy ground target and the enemy airfield, and he just proceeds to shoot them down one after another. And when they start running a little thin, he flies away and waits for 2 or 3 more of them to pile up behind us, and he slots right in behind him again and shoots 2 or 3 more down. So yeah, there's Lux Immortalis in his HE-112 getting splashed. You know, these bomber rescuer air street wins 3. Corbria and I at this point have really found our stride. We're just wrecking this place. She's win streak 8, I'm win streak 7, something like that. We've at this point got 5 enemy fighters tied up on us, which means that's 5 enemy fighters that aren't out in the midfield. I think at one point in time we had a PE-2 chasing us around, which meant that's 1 bomber that wasn't doing his job. Yeah, so at this point the enemy team's completely lost momentum. We're raising hell right over their airfield, and they don't like it. They don't seem to know what to do. So at this point, we're going for cratering the runways. Nightshade gets into trouble. She gets shot up by an F4F. We split apart, and then she gets shot down. The F4F that gets her, Bigodaires, almost immediately gets shot down by Convectix. You can see that happening in the top right and the back. I've got all kinds of enemy fighters all over me, but you know, there's not much they can do to stop me at this point. This is turning into a romp. I'm giggling like a madman just about the whole time. There's an assist. That's Convectix shooting down somebody else behind me that I put a few bullets into. Yeah, I mean, I'm a wreck. There's not a lot holding this plane together if you take a look. And what I'm doing is, you know, basically getting away from those AAA guns that are left, popping really high, forcing the enemy fighters. As soon as I empty the bombs, I start taking advantage of the really light load. with no bombs is, you know, 1,000 pounds lighter, and there's an awfully good thrust to weight ratio. Then I can really move the ship up and over. And there's Convectix again, shooting up somebody else chasing me. Yeah, I'm going in here, wrecking runways. So at this point, Convectix has actually shot down everyone that was chasing us. Initially, my guns are dry, and so yeah, I just kind of Convectix heads one way, and I kind of head the other for a few seconds, and just in time for the next wave of enemy fighters to spawn. So just as I'm getting turned around, and here they come again. Being cheeky and going for buildings instead of just the runway, you know, it's an art. And there's that PE-2 I was telling you about, going down in flames. I'm right in the waves. I'm literally below the level of the seawall here when I go up and over. And you can see the size of the furball going on behind me now. And there's another assist, because Convectix's back end shoots down somebody else. At this point I don't have a plane to fly. Both engines are black. We're almost out of tape. I put my wheels down originally figuring, you know, I'll do what I can, and I actually blow my wings off with them. I'm so low to the ground here. But that's okay. That was the end of the match. So yeah, not a bad finish. Second place for me, midfield for Corbria. Though to be completely honest, my second place finish is completely on the strength of Convectix, the 5 assists I scored from him. Otherwise, Corby and I are pretty much the same scores. So, a nice collection of cookies here. Two favorites that I love to see is Anti-Mech, of course, and Ground Win Streak. Pretty respectable all in all. Getting the best squad's always a nice perk too. Unfortunately, you don't get that for ground kills. That's air kills only. So yeah, not bad at all. You know, five assists, 10 ground targets destroyed, 3 air kills, I think it was. Lots of hits, lots of base damage. Nice high activity numbers. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Didn't have premium turned on for this match. I usually pay my $1 every time I play, but forgot to this time. So slowly making progress on my vampire. Just looking forward to flying that just because, yeah, vampire. Thanks very much for joining me for another Bomber Command episode. If you got any questions about what it is that you see here, or how it is we do what it is we do, please feel free to leave comments, questions, suggestions, all that good stuff down in the comment section below. I'll do what I can to get back to you. And thanks again. Look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.